Yeah. Yeah, I love artwork. Look at this stuff. What the fuck? Neraterrae is an Italian dark ambient project which was founded in 2017 by Alessio Antoni. Although the roots of the band can be traced as far back as 2009, when a demo under the name of Neraterrae was created, although it remained unreleased until 2017. This early effort combined drone, death industrial, power electronics, noise, and of course, dark ambient. The name Neraterrae, in case you were wondering, is a mixture of the Italian word nera and the Latin word terrae, which means black earth when you put them together. Throughout 2017 and 2018, Alessio contacted various dark ambient artists in the scene with the intention of creating a fully collaborative dark ambient debut, which would see him joining ideas and sound with some of the finest names in the modern-day dark ambient scene. The Substance of Perception was released in April of 2019 by Cyclic Law and was, by far, one of the best dark ambient albums released in 2019. Cyclic Law described the album as a daring, collaborative work featuring some of the finest artists from the dark ambient, drone, cinematic, and ritual music scene. Northhunt, Alexei Tegan from Purba, Treha Saktori, New Risen Throne, Flowers for Body Snatchers, Taphophobia, Ugasini, Xerxes the Dark, and Infinex Huma. The sound palette shifts between both stark atmospheres, melancholic ambience, and dense, claustrophobic drones, alternating between obscurity and light and oscillating between the ineffable detachment from the tangible and the relentless transmogrification of the self. Almost immediately afterwards, Alessio began work on his new album, Scenes from the Sublime. Alessio told me the concept for Scenes from the Sublime was driven by my love towards art, towards certain themes, certain painters. My father was a big fan of everything art-related. He introduced me to this universe when I was a young kid, and I'm thankful he did. I feel such passion has been growing inside of me over the time. As the years passed, I turned more and more eager to walk through the corridors of a museum, to collect art books, to study and do research. I guess Scenes from the Sublime represents the peak of this passion of mine. I wasn't really sure about which paintings I'd have taken inspiration from. I did not fully plan that in the beginning. I only had a few preferences. As I was building the songs, I noticed they began to reflect my overall taste and feelings about specific painters and artworks. I followed that path. Released by Cyclic Law in March of 2020, the label described the album as an ode to beauty, the unfathomable and the minds capable of channeling the sublime, a captivating yet unsettling, contemplative, aural experience that guides the listener through dense, dystopian atmospheres, granting Oranic visions of delicate grandeur and otherworldly scenarios transcending time and space. Outside of Neraterrae, Alessio has also been involved in a project called Kegal, which again is a collaborative effort, also featuring New Risen Throne and Taphophobia. Alessio is also known to play drums, guitar, and piano, and has played in various progressive metal, hard rock, and even pop rock bands, the most notable being Alma Flua, a stripped-down acoustic rock project. Neraterrae has also appeared on various compilations, and Alessio has also occasionally mastered albums or individual tracks from artists like Infinex Huma, House of the Maker, Taphophobia, Forest of Frogs, and some project called Noctilukent, which maybe you've heard of. However, let us now focus our full attention on Alessio's latest album, Scenes from the Sublime. Intro out of the way, let's talk a bit more about Scenes from the Sublime. Much like the first album, The Substance of Perception, Scenes from the Sublime is an almost entirely collaborative album, save for one song which Alessio handles by himself. The album kicks off with a song called The Last Abjury, which features Martin from Philios. Philios, in case you've never heard it, is a project from Germany, and I think the best way to describe the project would be to call it something like boombastic or maybe even martial dark ambient music, but that at the same time it doesn't really tap into like that martial industrial or martial symphonic kind of subgenre of dark ambient that artists like In Slaughter Natives might belong to. No, I feel like with Philios, Martin still manages to have that sort of ambient quiet within his music while still having rumbling or even sometimes pounding drums in his music. It's really quite special, and it also holds there's also lots of influence from like the old krautrock scene from Germany. It's a really special project, and if you've never checked it out, it's probably one of the best out there these days. With that being said, this song definitely has the feel of Philios within it. And with Alessio adding his extra textures and dark ambience to his track, it really makes for a special and opener that just really, right from the get-go, it's a very inviting track and just really just grabs your attention right from the get-go with the rumbling drums and just really dark, gloomy atmosphere. It's really something special here. The second song, Fate Unveiled, features the Norwegian duo Dodds Machine. Dodds Machine, if you've heard their music, is usually a bit more noisy and industrial in character, but they settle for a much more chilled and kind of nightmarish dark ambient track here. So Fate Unveiled is a very calm, dark ambient track with a very surreal and otherworldly kind of vibe to it. It feels like you're traversing this nightmare terrain while just taking in all these obscure objects and places and just, it's very far removed from reality. It's a very nightmarish track and just really awesome. I mean, I was expecting something a little more, like I said, industrial, maybe even power electronics instead, because that's what Dodds Machine is more well known for. But here it's just really calm, dark ambient, just really great stuff. The third song, In Deafening Silence, features Matage from Fragments. Fragments is a dark ambient, martial industrial project that's been going since the early 2000s, and I personally came across the project back in, 2005, 2006, when one of Matage's old record labels sent me a promo CD for review on my old zine, Lunar Hypnosis. Matage's music is often somewhere between dark ambient and rumbling drums and heavy industrial percussive beats and such, and again, it kind of taps into that martial industrial and maybe even power electronics kind of style, but still there's the dark ambient and the drone characteristics are there, and that's definitely the case with this song here too. From the get-go, the song is pretty heavy in the percussion and the industrial and even kind of power electronics elements, but they're all kind of, I guess, in a more subtle down scale here, and there's obviously, very clear characteristics of dark ambient and drone going on in this track too. And for the first couple minutes, there's several sort of heavy percussive industrial beats, which, as the song progresses, sort of start to chill out more. The song has a very obscure atmosphere, again, sort of nightmarish, but also with a sort of fleeting hope to it. It's a really cool kind of feel to it, and towards the end of the song, there's sort of this, I don't want to say like fantasy kind of sounding piano melody, but it's just very kind of sort of tranquil and just really peaceful piano melody, which kind of really just ties the song together well with the the more abrasive start and then the more chilled out finish to it. Moving on to the sixth song, we come to The Unfathomable Lives Again, which features Xerxes the Dark and a project that's completely unknown to me called Kober Ord. The Unfathomable Lives Again is a very straightforward, sort of cavernous, dark ambient song. It's also the shortest on the album, which is 3.5 minutes, but it's really freaking good. It is a very strong meditative quality, really transportive. It really can just take you to this really I guess nightmarish realm, and just really, it's something you can really just dwell on and think. It is a very, very cool song, and as I mentioned, I have not heard Kolber Ord before, but this is definitely a project I'm going to have to look up further and investigate. The 8th song, The Collapse of Matter and Time, is Neraterrae, completely solo, and as you probably already know from this review and my past review, both of these albums have been almost entirely collaborative albums. So it's kind of, when all is said and done, it's kind of big the question, what is the Neraterrae sound? And, this song gives a partial answer to that question. The Collapse of Matter and Time opens up with the sounds of a ticking clock. And I don't know how to explain this exactly, but I've always had this weird thing about ticking clocks. It's sort of, it sort of touches me in my subconscious in this weird way where, like, I feel like I can just hear time passing. It bothers me. It almost makes me anxious. So hearing this ticking clock in this song really has this weird effect on me. I don't know if that's weird or anyone else has had that happen to, but that's really what happens when I hear a ticking clock. And of course, in this day and age, not a lot of people have, a normal ticking clock in their homes. Most people just look at their cell phones or whatever, the digital time on their stove, something like that. So it has this weird effect hearing that ticking clock when this song kicks off. So as the song progresses, it is a pretty straightforward dark ambient song. It has a very deep quality to it, very immersive, and but in a weird sort of way, the song makes me feel anxious, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it definitely had an effect on me. So mission accomplished right there, Alessio. Towards Oneric Truth features Layla Abdul-Rauf, which is another artist I'm completely unfamiliar with, but after hearing this awesome song, I really got to explore further. Towards Oneric Truth starts with the sounds of waves slowly coming to the shore on a beach, and this song has more of a, sort of a neoclassical kind of vibe to it as it slowly progresses. You kind of get treated to the sounds of dark ambience and drone, and there's this piano melody in the background which has a sort of classical vibe to it, which is then intermingled with Layla's lovely female voice. It's a really powerful and awesome track, and although it's only 4 minutes, it's still by far one of the best songs in the album, and as far as I'm concerned, a must hear. Alright, let's take a look at the album artwork, shall we? So on the front cover we have a very sort of dreamy and surreal, really dreamy cover right from the get-go. It's very inviting, very immersive, and you just know, like, when you're going to dive into this album, you're going to really be up for a treat. It's just an awesome artwork. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but just a really cool cover. Really, I love it. In the back cover, we have the track listing with all the information on the collaborations and which, painting the songs are inspired by, and again, there's cool artwork to go behind that. And then on the inside, we have all the album credits, and lots of very notable names in here. Even yours truly makes an appearance in there for some strange reason. And then we have the CD here, which is pretty normal, CD, nothing too special on the artwork there. And then another sort of surreal painting and the tray card there. So really cool stuff, really, kind of a simple digipack, nothing too flashy, not a lot of pages or anything like that, but cool stuff. And as usual, I always encourage people to buy physical media because it just offers so much more of the package and the album, and it's just, it's the right thing to do. And if people keep doing it, physical media will make a comeback, I hope, someday, but we'll see. So when all is said and done, Scenes from the Sublime is, well, quite a sublime album. In fact, it's fucking awesome. I would say the only thing I sort of miss that's on this album is not like a more, kind of melancholy song, which we got a little bit on the first album, but nevertheless, it's a very diverse album, and it offers a lot of different moods, a lot of different feels, and it's quite a journey when you dive into Scenes from the Sublime. Well, that'll about do it for this episode of Inner Sanctum, and as always, I gotta thank you guys so much for being here. If you get a chance, definitely like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you like what you're seeing. Until next time, my name is Joe, and I'll see you later.